Hey folks, coming to you on this bright sunny day, heading to teach another class, and thought I'd finally do a follow-up video on a subject that was really easy when it was all about electric guitars. That's going to be a bit harder to follow up with acoustic guitars, but I'm going to do it nonetheless. You may remember a few months back, those of you who watch regularly, I did a best budget electric guitars video, and there were so many companies and brand names to come up with. I had to do a follow-up for all the ones I forgot on the first video. That's how many there are. If you're looking for, a budget electric guitar, there are so many options now, and there are more since I did that video. When it comes to the world of acoustic guitar, I think options are a bit more limited. And that's because the traditional companies are still viable options for, let's say, your $100 guitar and your sub $200 guitar and your sub $300 guitar. So let me talk about those first. One of the reasons why I think a lot of new unknown brands struggle to make headway in the acoustic guitar market is one word: Yamaha. Yamaha are still probably the best bang for buck budget guitar, and really hard to compete with. I'm not talking about their really entry-level stuff. I'm talking about their FG line, their 800 series. Used to be the 700 series, now it's 800. I think their FG 800 standard guitar, either concert or dreadnought model, is $219 on Amazon. That's dollars. That's just hard to beat. Solid top, well made, reliable company, and so that sort of sets the benchmark for a lot of these new companies to try and compete with, and they struggle. There are other traditional brands that offer entry-level instruments to varying success. Epiphone, Ibanez, Alvarez, Washburn, Cort. They all offer guitars in that under 200 price range. Some do a good job. Some you need to spend a bit more to get to the good models. I've already done a video on Fender. I'm not a big fan of their entry-level acoustic guitars. I think once you get up into the $300-400 range with things like their Paramount series, I think they're excellent. But their student quality guitars, I don't think are that much better than some of the budget brand options. I would say the same for Ibanez. Once you get up into the Artwood series, excellent guitars, but you're getting up into the $300-400s to get there. You can buy their $100-200 guitars, and they're okay. I think it's the IJ series one. Same with Epiphone, the DR100, the DR150. They're okay, nothing special. I remember setting up a DR100 alongside a Rogue guitar, an $80 Rogue Special, and there really wasn't that much difference in the quality. But of course, when you get up into the Masterbuilt series, with Epiphone, their Hummingbird, things like that, then it gets better. But right at the $100-200 mark, I think they're just average. Probably similar with Alvarez. They have a Masterwork series that gets good. I think their, the AW 100 300s are good. But perhaps they're really entry-level budget guitars, the student models, are just average. So it's kind of a similar story. Same with Cort. Cort makes a couple of entry-level guitars that are okay, but it's when you get into the Earth series in the $300 range that I think they really start to excel. So Yamaha is kind of unique in the fact that you don't have to spend that much money to get into a good guitar. I just think that they are still the kings. of the entry-level acoustic guitars. They have been for years, they still are. So who competes with that from a lesser-known budget label perspective? Well, not many. There's a lot of offerings. Your Acklots and your Ashthorpes and all these weird brands that crop up on Amazon, and I've had them all, and they're just okay. They need a lot of setup. Oftentimes they are all laminate to start with, and really none of them are that exciting. I would say the one that probably impressed me the most at the $120 level, it's probably more like $140 now, guitars are going up, is Donner. I think Donner does alright. Are they as good as the $200 Yamahas? No. Is it worth spending the extra $50, $60 to get the Yamaha? Yes, I think so. But as far as these lesser known brands, I think Donner has probably been the best experience with setups. There are some of these mail order companies that have acoustic offerings. One is exceptional because it concentrates on acoustic guitars, and that's Orangewood. I think they've really broken into the market here in the US. Their entry-level guitars are pretty good. Their mid-range guitars, up in the $200-$300 brackets, are, I think, exceptional value. I'm not sure about the high-end stuff they've been working on lately, the all-solid guitars, because I haven't had one. I've heard both sets of opinions on those. But I think Orangewood has really tapped into the market in a way that other companies have missed the boat. So the other big mail-order companies, Rondo, I don't think they've really done that well with acoustic guitars. They have a few entry-level models, none of which really excite me. Same with Guitar Fetish. I've had a couple of Javier models that were just okay. I thought were a little bit overpriced, needed a lot of work. Monopricing used to do well with acoustic guitars, and I think they're trying to make a comeback with the Idlewild series. I just tried out their new $100, $99 solid spruce top Dreadnought. It's okay. It doesn't blow me away like the $300 solid spruce and solid cedar models that they used to do. I still think they do the spruce. The cedar one, for some reason, they discontinued, which I thought was their best guitar. However, that's up in, Yamaha territory, so it's got a lot of competition. Who else are we talking about? Well, the one mail order brand that I think has done well and goes under the radar for acoustic guitar, and I came to it late, is the Harley Benton acoustics, which are actually really good. I have kept one of them, and I could have kept more, but I was really impressed with the prices and the quality of their making. I think they kind of go under the radar for acoustic guitars. Everybody raves about their electrics for good reason, but I think their acoustic guitar offerings are really excellent, and if you want a good deal on an acoustic guitar, that might be a good place to start if you don't mind buying sight unseen and doing your own setup work. So there's a bit of a lack in terms of these budget companies really satisfying the entry-level acoustic market. A lot of them don't even try. I haven't seen any full Indian Vina IYV acoustics. I haven't really seen any Grope acoustics or Bad Cat. I just sampled the Firefly acoustics, and I thought they were reasonable. They're up in the $200 bracket, which again puts them sort of in Yamaha territory, which is a tough sale. But I thought they were pretty decent. I think they got one on sale for about $170 on Amazon right now. I think it's the DA series, solid top. I think those are a good option, and possibly would make my top 10 for acoustic guitars. And then the one I really want to talk about more than anything is the new line of Sigma guitars that has appeared on Amazon. I think they're made for Amazon only, the D10 series. When they first came out, they were introduced for $139, all solid top. And they were an absolute bargain. I bought like 6 or 7 of them, sold them all, set them up, and for a while they were the best thing going in terms of acoustic guitars. I knew the price would raise, and now they're $199 for most models. I think their little travel mini guitar is $219 on Amazon at the moment. But even at that price, I think they're a great deal. I think they really rival those Yamaha FG series guitars. Of course, a lot of you will know about Sigma. They used to be, a Martin's budget brand for many years, and now some of the older Sigma guitars have become collectible in their own right and go for quite a bit on the auction sites. I think they were bought out by Alvarez for a while. They may still be with Alvarez. I haven't really kept up with what's going on with Sigma. I'm sure somebody in the comments will tell me. They make high-end guitars, and if you go to the Sigma online site, you'll find guitars anywhere between $300-400 and a couple thousand. It appears that they made these $200 guitars for Amazon only. They don't even show them on their own website. I think they're just made for the Amazon market, but they're really good. They're really well made. And I kind of missed that $139 price. I thought it was an excellent bargain at the time. So it's a bit of not as of an exciting a list as I prepared for the electric guitar budget companies, but I would still put Yamaha up at the top, and then I would throw in the Sigma guitars, the Orangewood stuff, some of the Idlewild models coming from Monoprice, the new Firefly guitars. If you want something really, really cheap, I would say probably the Donner Acoustics, the cream of the crop in the, let's say, under $150 range. And then, of course, you're looking at your usual suspects. After that, you might find a good model for a Court or Ibanez, Alvarez, Epiphone, that sort of thing. Washburn, certainly. Oh, by the way, Musician's Friend had one of the Washburn solid tops for their stupid deal of the day for $119, which I thought was a really good deal. I'm not sure if they're still doing it, but occasionally you can get a Washburn solid top for a really good price. They tend to feature specials on them. I'm not quite sure what's going on with Washburn these days, but you certainly can still find an array of acoustic guitars. They've sort of fallen away with their electric line, concentrating on the acoustics. And then lastly, for real budget stuff, I will throw Mitchell into the mix. Now, Mitchell is one of those Guitar Center brands. There have been many over the years. Most have fallen away. Do you remember Laguna guitars? They were hot for a while, kind of fallen away. Mitchell is one of their new current brands. They've been around for quite a while now, so it seems to be a mainstay for them. And they do offer electric guitars and acoustic guitars in the budget price ranges, and they're pretty decent from what I can tell. Right now, if you go on eBay, you can get the Mitchell solid top black or natural dreadnought. I forget the model number, but I've done a video on it recently, for $79 shipped to you. And I think right now that's probably the best cheap deal for an acoustic guitar. I've had all of the sub 100 acoustic guitars over the last few years. I've done videos on many of them. For instance, Guitar Center also sells a lot of Rogue guitars, and I just think the Mitchells are way better, much better made. Some of you will know Mitchell from their electric guitars, which are also pretty cheap. People have been raving about their Les Paul offerings, and maybe I'll feature something from them in the near future. But as far as a solid top guitar, I think that $79 deal, I hate to say it because you know me, I'm not a big fan of Guitar Center / Musician's Friend, but that's a really good deal. I ordered a few of them before Christmas, the black ones, and they sold right away. They made great Christmas presents for people. Good first guitars, you know, solid top, competently built, and I would say, you know, in keeping with the entry level orange woods and things like that. So I'll throw Mitchell on the list as well. And that's about it. There's a lot of room in the acoustic market, I think, for somebody to come along and make an impression, certainly at the lower price ranges. A lot of people are trying, like Glary and others, Ashthorpe, Acklot, K-Mize, all of these guitars, and you know, they're okay. They just don't blow me away. They tend to need tons of setup, and every once in a while you get a warped neck with those guitars. So they're not as reliable as some of the other brands that I've talked about in this video. So not as full and exciting of a list, but those are my tips for anybody wanting to get a good deal on an acoustic guitar. Hope you find it helpful. All right, folks. See you next time.